Welcome to our weekly episode of HDI Local Chapters live stream show. Sorry about that mess up. Technology, I don't know what to tell you. But before we get on with the show, let's talk about our show sponsor, Robert Half Talent Solutions. They are a leading talent provider for IT professionals that you need to build, deploy, and operate your IT, whether it's digital, cloud, or what have you. And right now, it's a hard time. I personally have been going through a lot of struggles trying to find the right talent, and using folks like Robert Half, which I did. I was able to find those talented folks. But not only do they provide talented folks, on their website, which is the top screen here, roberthalf.com/technology, you can also find great other knowledge on there, like career advice, resume tips, interviewing tips, salary guides, and a lot more. So check them out at roberthalf.com/technology. All right, so let's get on with our show. So today our guest is Randy Celaya. Did I say that right, Randy? Celaya?
You did.
Oh, good. All right, because you can ask our producer, Amy. I butcher names, and I
got all warm inside. That was awesome. Thank you.
I still can't pronounce her name right, even though I know it. But when I go to say it, then it's just... Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Randy. Randy began his career as a desktop support professional where he supported and trained employees and managers and, also installing retail operational systems. He quickly advanced to leadership positions managing IT support and contact centers. Skip forward a little bit to since 1998, Randy has educated thousands of business professionals globally, and he continues to consult and educate virtually with service and support teams around the world. He frequently writes top trending articles for Support World magazine, which is HDI, and he's a sought-after guest speaker and judge panelist for service and support industry conferences and events. Welcome to the show, Randy.
Thank you.
You were just teaching one of the classes at the Support World Live a few weeks ago, so I was happy to finally get to meet you in person.
That was really awesome. It was a director's course. Yeah, the pre-con.
So let's talk about that. Prior to me, so for those of you who don't know, I took a few of Randy's, HDI courses. Randy was my instructor. And prior to those classes, I wasn't too sure I believed totally in certifications in the IT support field. But Randy, I got to tell you, I changed my attitude once I took those because of the content. So let me ask you your opinion on what the certifications, forget the certifications is great, but just the content in the classes, what do you feel that it provides the people that go through that class?
There's so many things that it provides in terms of understanding the role, the framework of support, processes, what those common processes that are out there. It really focuses on metrics. Communication is big on it. And it really focuses on the things that they need to be successful. And the thing I love about it is, I've taken courses offline at other companies and I've seen it. I don't work for HDI, but I've been involved with them for many years because they've built this community that's so supportive, number one. But I've got to, I'm fortunate enough where I've been partnering my company with HDI since 2006. So I've got to see, I always say my little analysts are now running major corporations. I see them come in from an analyst level, then go to team lead, manager, director. But it's all about just understanding what their job is. If you don't have processes in place and they don't have a clear understanding of why they're doing something, sometimes they don't do it. Like, why do we need to log every incident? Or how do we establish a priority? Or as we were talking before the show, sometimes they don't realize that they're making the customer speak more than they should. They haven't been taught how to control a conversation or manage a conversation all the way through. But it's very cool to see how the courses build upon each other. So, and they're all aligned. So that's a big piece of it too, because I've noticed a lot of courses out there with other organizations. They're just, even the verbiage is different. But the way you watch them come in and then the way you watch them leave, and you've seen that as experience from a student standpoint. Yeah. They come in and they're not sure, I've been doing this for 10 years, or maybe they're brand new. We don't know, but they all say, wow, we've never understood the whole picture.
So let me expand on this a little more, because one thing I think my misconception of these courses before I took them was, what the hell is Randy going to teach me about knowing how to tell my users how to log on or how to do this system or that system connect to the drive. That's not what these classes are about, though, right? I mean, this is not what you teach. It's amazing what you do teach, because every job can be different, but what you teach in these classes is fundamental, like, skills, right? It's not,
and it is. Because you could literally, we're specific and we focus on support, right? But if you take the methodologies and practices, it's about leadership, it's about process, it's about quality assurance, it's about understanding the value in what we do, and that's one thing that I heard from a director last week in one of my director courses that said, after this class, he's like, they're on fire. Actually, no, that was during the Vegas one we just did. They're contacting me, and one of them said, hey, now I'm representing myself as value. We were literally looked at as an expense. And now they're seeing the value in what we do because I'm able to communicate the value in what we do. So, the shift from let's focus and educate people on all the problems that we're having, let's take that away and focus on the value that we're providing, and
yeah,
I was going to say, from the desktop, especially the advanced desktop support, I love that class because they're getting the recognition that they deserve. They're out there in the community, but they're also learning how to communicate effectively. Business relationship management, which is, they're surprised about that, but they're grateful for it. Like, I never thought about this before, but they're also learning how to become a consultant, because that's what they're doing. They're going to every department. They're learning, what is important to this department, and then what technology do I have to research that I can provide for this department that has different, let's say, different focuses, or where's the revenue coming from, or, all the departments are different. So the old school mentality was, let's buy technology and give it to them, where we're talking about, no, let's build a relationship, find out what they need, where they're driving revenue, what's value to them, and then provide them with technology specifically for that. Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, totally agree. And being that I spend a lot of my time managing desktop support, I really thought, what in the heck is Randy going to teach me in this class? But I know, like, I worked for a university, and I spent a lot of my time trying to coach my people who were very technical, very brainy, very smart, how to work with customers. And man, I have to say, I wish I would have known about that certification long before that, because I'd have twisted my boss's arm until he gave me the money to send them, because wow, was that an eye-opener.
And the other thing is, we really focus a lot on communication skills, which a lot of people have not really focused on before.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
The big one is, and I'm really grateful because, I get to teach these courses, and I've kept a little folder in my email of emails from students that say, not only did this help me completely get energized and love my career and understand it, but the techniques and strategies and methodologies also are helping me out in my personal life, like structured problem solving, it's just anything like that. But emotional intelligence, huge. I got an email from someone recently that told me, I didn't come in expecting to learn about a lot about psychology and emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, holy crap, this stuff really works. And they take the ball and run with it. But, I looked at that email, and she said to me, because of learning this in my class, I went forward, because I always challenge my students. I said, you can either learn this to pass a certification or learn this to actually implement it. And she said, I'm going to learn more about emotional intelligence. And I got a great email from her saying she hadn't talked to her family in like 20 years. Wow. And now they're really close, all because of what self-awareness with emotional intelligence. It was her that was preventing that relationship with her family. So that's the kind of stuff that I get to see, which, keeps me doing what I'm doing. It seriously does.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, like, if you learn to do this, I guess you use it both personal and professional, you'll do a lot better. And I will tell you, like, I got something here for you, because I remember saying this to you, like, Randy, I don't know if I can do this, like, preparing for all this, because I'm a squirrel sometimes. But I wrote this to prove I wrote this. I went to grab my book from your class, and I wrote this down. See if we can put it in the camera. Can you see that?
Oh, awesome. Are you using it?
I do, for personal as well as professional. Like you said, I'm more of a squirrel personally than I am professionally. And Randy, so for people that don't know what that is, just give us a quick synopsis of that.
It's some people say Pomodoro, but it's Italian, so it's Pomodoro.
Pomodoro, yeah.
And it's a study that the cool thing about it is I get to share other things outside of the course also. And that was something that I said, hey, here's something to try, because I had someone, well, it was you, but someone always bring me it up. It's like, there's so much going on up here. It's hard to stay focused. Well, it's a technique where you actually only, you work in increments of 25 minutes. And then a little alarm go, like if I'm doing curriculum development or if I'm doing consulting and doing my administrative functions, it times it in 25 minutes. And I actually tell them about that when they're taking the exam, because you retain more in 25 minutes and you're a lot more productive. And the little alarm goes off and you have to force yourself to get off and just walk away, but just for a couple of minutes. And then you start again. Unbelievable. Gap analysis. So, I looked at myself prior to that, and I heard about it a couple of times. So once I started implementing it, I have to tell everybody about it in my class.
That was a wonderful tool. So we're coming down on some time here. So I want to ask you a couple questions. So we're talking about this training. Forget the certification, although we can talk about that in a minute. But just the training alone. So I know where I'm at now. One of the things my boss was excited about, and his boss was excited about. By the way, my boss. His boss was excited about was that I took these classes and understand, and actually, thanks to you, I'm certified to train people in some of these certifications.
Mastery level.
And she loved that fact, and that kind of helped me get the job. But so as a boss hiring folks, why should I either send my people to those classes or look for people that have taken those classes?
Well, first of all, you got to remember that the curriculum is developed by the industry. So that's what, it's a best practice, and everything that we teach are best practices. So many companies have done this. They know they get this result. So that's the one thing. The other thing is sending people in really understands what's the definition of their job. And it makes it look at it, they look at the whole picture, not just the little job. But when people go to the classes, they really feel like, wow, this is a big community. And I didn't realize what career opportunities are within this. And a lot of people also get good validation. It's like, oh, I knew this, they're validating what they're doing. And other people don't see that value, but they see it. And that was my experience too, growing up in this industry. Yeah. My first help desk and things like that was, we were looked at as an expense, but people are looking for this on their resumes because they know that if they get someone who's certified, they know the job description, they know the processes, and they know what's expected out of them. And I hear that from people in my director's courses and managers courses too, that say they look for these because they know what they've been taught. It's consistent throughout the industry.
And I've seen it on, I don't remember this job because this was like kind of weird job process for me. But the last job I had, it was actually on my job description what they were looking for in the job posting. So I found that interesting. In some places, including where I'm at now, is like, okay, you may not have it, but it's I don't say requirement may be a little bit of a strong word, but definitely a benefit that we'd like you to get and have. So let's talk about that, Randy. I said I kind of pushed this off till kind of the end though, but so at the end of this training, you do have an opportunity to become certified.
Yes.
What does that do for people? What have you seen that do for people?
Number one, it establishes credibility to what they do. So if they have that certification, they can get a little thing up on the email, right? I'm a certified manager, director, what it is, but it tells everyone in the industry that they know the best practices for their position. I mean, every course, if you get that manual, that's literally a job description of what the industry says. This is the job description for this position, this title. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely does.
And the other thing too is I always look at, if people are getting that certification, that kind of, number one, tells you that, okay, it's within themselves to get it. I don't know. Some companies say it's a requirement. Last company I was talking to last week, they said, we're going to just say if they want to take it, they can. But I highly encourage them to say, make it a requirement. But it's all about initiative. And if someone wants to be successful in this industry, they're going to follow through with it. But you'll see a high percentage of people get certified because they walk out of the courses and they're like, I want to be certified. after they experience the either 2 or 3 day or 1 day, whatever course they're taking. Yeah. But they're excited about it and they want to be certified. And the cool thing about it is it's building a community. And you know this as well as I do. It's all about community. No one will fail in this industry if they're in this community because we all help each other and support each other. And they also keep in contact after the class is over. Yeah. They create small groups, they help each other out. But the certification is definitely something that is within them to do if it's not a requirement. But it really adds value to their resume. But also, just real quick, I know we're running here, but also I've heard that from people that didn't really know about HDI that started taking courses and sending people because someone who they interviewed were like, where the hell did you learn all this stuff? You know, which is really cool. I love that when directors and managers come in and humble themselves and say, teach me what you taught my analysts. Yeah, so, it's pretty cool.
So we are at the end of the show. Randy, if people want to reach out to you, I do have your email address at the bottom of the screen there.
Excellent.
Ahead, you know, if you want to get a hold of Randy and ask questions, and if you don't know about HDI local chapters, the link's here. And if you don't know about HDI or their certifications, you really, really need to, especially if you're a leader in the IT support space, you really need to take a look at that, not only for your people, but you as well, Randy. I am excited. My boss wants me to take the support center manager and maybe director and things like that. So I'm going to be super excited to take those classes. You know, and I think my boss is even interested in taking. I'm pretty sure he's got enough HDI certs, but he wants to maybe think about getting more and maybe even certified to teach our folks. So
absolutely, that's awesome.
Well, Randy, thank you for your time, and I really appreciate it. I know we'll see more of each other because I'll be hopefully in some of your classes, but seeing you at some of the upcoming events, and can't wait and excited. But before we go, any last minute tips or advice to the audience for
I think the one thing is just get familiar with what the content is, and the other thing is, don't send anyone to the class if you don't want to follow through with the practices. Yeah, that's really so true.
You will frustrate them so much.
Because then they're like, this is the way it should work, and I know how it does, and they're limited when they get that. That can be frustrated. But once you understand it, if you really look into it and send one person through it and see the results, that sells itself. That's why it's the most recognized certification for support internationally, is because of people's experiences that have gone through.
And I'll tell you, from the flip side of being the boss, if you send them for training and they get certified and they come back and you don't foster that, you won't have them in your organization very much longer, because they're going to go find one that does use it.
It's very true. It's very true. They'll look for someone that understands the value and what we're doing.
I'm glad that I found that. I mean, my boss Greg, he's very much into that, and his boss Jen as well. So I'm happy to be there to know that they respect and look forward.
And there's reasons for it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, Randy. Well, thank you for being on our show. Everybody else, thank you for watching. Check us out every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you next week.